Hey guys, tonight we step into a world of shadows and chandeliers, where velvet drapes block out more than just sunlight, and someone else's memories thrum behind your eyes like a forgotten lullaby. You open your eyes to the hush of candlelight flickering against high carved ceilings. The bed beneath you is impossibly soft, all brocade and embroidered linen with a scent of lavender and beeswax hanging in the air. It's not your bed. It doesn't even feel like your century. Your fingers twitch across the silk sheet as you sit up. The room is rich. Tapestries, an antique harp in the corner, a fire laid in a marble hearth that looks older than your country. You spot yourself in a mirror. Same face, same eyes, but something about them looks older, or maybe haunted. And then there's that ache again, right in your chest, like a kiss you were supposed to receive but didn't, like a farewell no one gave you. A knock at the door, soft as rain on a chapel roof. "My lady." A girl, no older than 16, peers in. "Lady Ravella wishes to see you in the sunroom." Ravella. That name tastes like iron and spoiled wine. "Of course," I murmur, even though your throat is parched with confusion. Your voice sounds like it belongs here. That's the strangest part. "Oh, and by the way, pretty sure you just got reborn because you remember how it felt to die. Cold. Alone. In a hospital bed where no one held your hand at the end. But here you are. Alive again. Corseted and confused. Reincarnated into some Victorian fever dream where people call you Lady Elowin. Cheeky, right? So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe my channel Whisper Audio, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And leave a comment letting me know where and when you're listening from. Are you under cozy blankets, on a train, drifting off at your desk? Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. You rise, slipping your bare feet into velvet slippers beside the bed. The floors are cold, stone beneath the rug, and the halls are hushed with that eerie stillness rich people pretend is elegance. The maid leads you through tall archways and past paintings of severe ancestors who seem to glare directly at you. You flinch at one, an oil portrait of a young woman who looks exactly like you. "Who is that?" you ask. The maid glances up. "That's Lady Elowin the First. You're named after her. She died young, before she could marry." You smile tightly. "Charming." When you reach the sunroom, Lady Ravella is waiting. She's a vision of icy control, her blonde hair pinned in place like her opinions, and her dress the deep green of expensive envy. She doesn't rise when you enter, just lifts her porcelain teacup with a smile that doesn't quite reach her eyes. "Darling, do sit. You look flushed." She gestures to the chair across from her. "Did you dream again?" You pause mid-step. "Pardon? You tend to have episodes. Your little dreams," she murmurs, stirring her tea. "We're just all so glad you're better now. I was beginning to worry I'd have to send for the mesmerist again." Episodes. Of course. How convenient. You nod slowly, letting her think she's in control. "I feel quite well, thank you." "Lovely." She pours your tea. From a white porcelain pot, steam curling between you. You sip your tea. It tastes odd, like rose hips, orange peel, and something metallic underneath. Ravella watches you drink. "The positions say blood can hold memory," she says lightly. "Imagine that. Perhaps what runs in your veins is more than just your own." You cough once delicately. "Is this your usual blend?" "Oh yes, my own recipe. I find it sharpens the mind." You try not to flinch. Outside the window, a crow caws and lands on the ledge, its beady eyes trained on you like an omen. In the village of Irdenmoor, they say crows perch only for the dying or the cursed. Naturally, it feels right at home. You excuse yourself shortly after, claiming fatigue, and return to your chamber. And that's when the dreams begin. Not while you sleep. No, too easy. They creep in when you're combing your hair. In the mirror, for a blink, you see yourself in a hospital gown. Wires, monitors, the flatline beep, and someone, no, him, standing at the window, eyes dark with something you once called love. Then you blink, and he's gone. The mirror only shows your face again. Except now, you remember his name before anyone tells you. Ashenbane. You know him, or you did, once. You shake the thought away and slip under the canopy of your bed. The curtains close in the hush of fabric against fabric, and the wind hums through the old stone. Somewhere, a clock chimes midnight. You whisper to yourself, maybe you were never meant to survive this time, but the part of you that already died once, she's not afraid of fate anymore.
The morning tastes like parchment and honeysuckle. You rise before the house fully wakes, the air still blue and thin with mist. Outside your window, the moor stretches into a haze of pale lavender, dew-kissed and humming with birdsong. There's an ache in your bones, not pain exactly, more like the echo of a bruise you can't quite remember getting. You dress yourself this time, just to feel the weight of it. The corset is tighter today, the stays less forgiving. You wonder idly if this is punishment or protection. The gown is a soft mauve, layered like a cake, and far too expensive for someone who doesn't know where her own jewelry box is. The mirror catches your eye again. You don't look different, but you feel different, like you're walking around in someone else's story. Downstairs, the drawing room has been rearranged for the visit. Silver trays, lace cloths, tea things polished to a military shine. Ravella is already orchestrating the staff like a conductor with a grudge. Her smile sharpens when she sees you. "You'll want to look presentable," she says, smoothing invisible creases from her dress. "Lord Ashenbane isn't one for sentiment or mercy." You quirk a brow. "Is that a warning?" "A kindness," she says, and offers nothing more. And then, as if summoned by the very taste of his name on the air, he arrives. You hear the horses first, then the heavy knock at the door, then the sound of boots on marble. You're not prepared for what happens when he steps into the room. He looks exactly as you remember, and not at all. Tall, with shoulders built for armor or tragedy, dark hair that falls in waves just long enough to tempt your fingers, a face carved more from grief than vanity, and eyes the color of storm glass, gray, but with the memory of blue. He wears mourning black, but not for anyone else. He looks like he's been mourning for centuries. He sees you, and everything stills. The tray the butler carries clinks awkwardly. Someone coughs. The moment stretches, strange and thick, like taffy before it snaps. "My lord," Ravella says, offering her hand, "welcome to Irdenmoor." He replies, voice low and rough like worn velvet, "Lady Rovella, thank you for your hospitality." Then those eyes turn back to you, and "This must be Lady Elowen." You rise, suddenly aware of every inch of skin your gown covers, and doesn't. "It's a pleasure." He bows, shallowly. "I've heard much." And yet you look surprised. "Not surprised," he says, gaze unreadable, "just reminded." The tea goes predictably wrong. Ravella steers the conversation with the precision of a chess master, but you're too busy trying not to fall into Lord Ashenbane's eyes. At one point, he reaches for a scone, and his fingers brush yours. Your heart nearly launches through your corset. Images hit you. Flashes. A candlelit corridor. A secret room. Lips pressed against yours like a vow spoken through time. You drop the sugar spoon with a sharp clink. "Are you quite well?" Ravella asks, eyes narrowing. "I'm fine. Just a moment of déjà vu." Across the table, Ashenbane's eyes never leave you. After tea, he offers you his arm. You accept, if only to feel it, the warmth of him, solid and real. You walk together through the back gardens, trailing between yew hedges and forgotten fountains. "Do you believe in second chances?" he asks suddenly. You glance at him. "In what sense?" "In the sense that perhaps time repeats itself, not because it's kind, but because it doesn't know what else to do." You stop walking. "Why would you say that?" He turns to you, the wind tugging his coat like a petulant ghost. "Because you look like someone I once knew. Someone I couldn't save. Maybe she didn't want saving. Everyone wants saving, eventually." You look away, heart thudding. The garden smells of damp earth and forgotten prayers. You pluck a rose from a bush, thornless oddly enough, and twirl it between your fingers. "They say in Eardenmoor," he says quietly, "that if you give a rose to someone at dusk, it binds you to their fate." "Superstition?" He shrugs. "It's a land built on them. We celebrate weddings under moonlight because sunlight is too honest. We bury the dead with coins in their shoes so they can bribe the ferrymen. And what do they do for people like us?" He steps closer. "They pray we never remember." You want to kiss him, which is of course ridiculous. You don't know him, not really. You've been alive here for 2 days, and yet everything in you whispers, you've kissed him before, in another life, in another death. You're about to say something else reckless when a crow shrieks from the hedges. You flinch. So does he. "Crows again," you murmur. "They follow me." Why? Because they know how it ends. He offers a half smile that hurts more than any frown. "Don't worry, Lady Elowyn. I don't intend to die this time." You glance at him sharply. "This time?" But he only nods toward the manor, already turning away. "Shall we?" You follow reluctantly. You remember the way it felt to watch him walk away once before. You swore you'd do anything to stop it. Maybe this time you'll find the courage to act before the ending is written in stone. And as the light begins to fade over Eardenmoor, you wonder, what if you both died before, and now time is simply giving you one more try? You slip the thornless rose into your pocket. Let's see what fate has to say about that. The night tastes like secrets, baked into old wood. You dream again, but it isn't just yours this time. You see a hallway lined with mirrors, each one reflecting not your face, but versions of it. A dozen Elowans, each dressed differently, some cloaked in blood, some in bridal white, some screaming soundlessly. They press their palms to the glass, watching you. In the last mirror, he appears, Ashenbane. But this time, his eyes are black, empty, and he says your name like a curse. Elowyn. You wake before dawn, breath caught halfway between a sob and a scream. The fire's gone cold in your room, and the shadows have changed shape. You rise. There's a draft near the hearth, a whisper of chill that shouldn't be there. When you crouch, fingers brushing the stone, you find something. A loose tile. Behind it, a letter. Old, yellowed, folded into a triangle. You unfold it slowly. It's in your handwriting. To whomever I've become, trust nothing behind silk smiles. There's poison in the sugar and blood in the wine. If he finds the ring, it ends. If you find it first, maybe you live this time. You. A ring. There's a knock at the door again. Different girl this time, barely more than a child. Lady Ravella requests you in the East Wing. She says it's urgent. You tuck the letter into your bodice and follow. The East Wing is colder than the rest of the house. It always has been. Servants say it's haunted, but only when they think you're not listening. The halls here smell of mildew and history, like wet books and regret. You pass a painting of a woman in mourning black, her hands clasped tightly, her neck bare, no jewelry, no ring. When you enter the sitting room, Ravella is waiting with an older man you've never seen before. "Lady Elowin," she says crisply, "this is Mr. Greaves. He's the estate solicitor." "Miss," Greaves nods politely. "Just a brief matter of paperwork. Nothing to worry about." You sit because you must. He opens a leather folio and draws out a document. Your father's final will names you sole heiress, but there was one caveat left unclear. A piece of jewelry, his signet ring, have gone missing. You keep your face calm. And if it's not found, Ravella interrupts, ownership of the estate could default to his closest ally, Lord Ashenbane. Your heartbeat stutters. Which would be inconvenient, she adds, pouring herself a sherry despite the hour. Wouldn't it? You nod slowly. Yes, inconvenient. Greaves gives a thin smile. I'm sure you understand. Some rings are more than decoration. Oh, you understand now. The ring isn't just a token. It's power, ownership, memory, proof. And Ashenbane doesn't know you've already been warned. You rise politely, excuses murmured about dress fittings and headaches. The moment you're in the hall, you run. Back to the West Wing, to your father's study. The room is locked, of course, but you remember where the old key was always kept. Behind the loose panel in the bookcase, under the volume of the king's forgotten lineage. You retrieve it with shaking hands. Inside the study is just as you remembered, or rather, as she did. You, the past version, the first Elowin. Dust covers the desk. A broken pocket watch lies beside a bottle of ink long dried. You search everything. Drawers, books, even beneath the rugs. Nothing. Until you see the portrait. It's your father, warm, stern, proud, and in his painted hand, the signet ring. You step closer. There's a catch along the frame. When pressed, the portrait swings open like a door. Inside is a hidden compartment, and nestled within it, the ring. Gold and heavy, engraved with the Ashenmore crest, a raven wrapped around a sword. Cold to the touch and humming faintly against your skin, like it remembers being worn. You should hide it, but something urges you, wear it. So you do. The moment the band slides onto your finger, something shifts. You hear voices, a room you've never entered, laughter, a scream. You see flashes, Ashenbane kneeling beside your lifeless body, blood on the floor, Ravella at the door, looking disappointed, not horrified. You blink it away. The ring is showing you what it remembers. You tug your sleeve down to cover it and leave the study, locking the door behind you. When you pass a mirror, your reflection looks steadier, sharper, a glint of knowledge behind your eyes that wasn't there yesterday. That evening, Ashenbane finds you in the garden again. He walks beside you for some time without speaking. Then he stops under an old willow tree and turns. You've changed. You meet his gaze, calm. So have you. I remember more each night. Do you? Yes, I found the ring. His expression doesn't flicker, but his eyes do. 1,000 things pass through them. Do you know what it does? He asks. I know it belonged to my father. I know Ravella wants it gone. And do you remember the promise we made? Your breath catches. Not fully. He steps closer, lowers his voice. You wore it on our wedding day, the first time, when she poisoned you before the vows. Your stomach flips. That's why I remember the taste of metal in the tea. He nods. She'll try again. She thinks if I inherit Irdenor, she can control it. But if you wear the ring, no one can contest your place. You touch the band. It's still cold. So why didn't we run? Because we thought we could outsmart her. We were young, in love, and we died for it. You look out at the garden, the hedge maze shimmering in the twilight. She doesn't know I have it yet. No, he says softly. But she will. A pause. Would you marry me again? He asks, almost shyly, if it gave us another chance. You turn to him. I think I already did. In every life. Maybe it's foolish. Maybe fate is laughing. But under that twilight sky, with the rose still tucked in your pocket and the ring pulsing softly on your hand, you kiss him. And this time, no one dies. Yet.
Rain whispers against the stone like a warning. You wake to it tapping the window panes, soft as breath, steady as fate. Irdenmoor's walls seem to hum with it, the sort of heavy rain that doesn't cleanse, but soaks through bones and secrets. You dress slowly, the morning heavy on your shoulders. The ring, warm now, fits your finger like it's always belonged. In the hallway, a servant slips by with her head down, clutching a bundle of letters. You hear her whisper something. The storm always brings change. And in this place, you believe her. At breakfast, Rovella doesn't eat. She watches you instead, her expression calm, pleasant, venomous. You've seen snakes with the same look, just before the strike. You look well rested, she says, pouring herself tea. Quite radiant, in fact, and yet I heard you were up wandering during the night. I find the east wing soothing. You lie smoothly, buttering a slice of bread. So many shadows to talk to. Her smile doesn't slip. Let's hope they don't answer. Ashenbane arrives a few minutes late, rainwater still clinging to the folds of his cloak. He bows first to you, then more stiffly to Rovella. Lady Rovella, forgive the lateness. The storm has flooded the old road. A shame, she murmurs, dabbing the corner of her mouth. So many things washed away in weather like this. You can almost taste the subtext. After breakfast, you escape to the greenhouse. It smells of mint and loam and damp violets. An honest scent, for once. You find Ashenbane already inside, brushing rain from his sleeves, standing beside a pot of blooming foxglove. They used to say this plant could open the heart to prophecy, or stop it entirely. You raise a brow. That's comforting. He smiles faintly. You remember anything more? You nod. The letter I found, it was from me, a warning. It mentioned poison and blood. He frowns. Then she knows more than she lets on. You pluck a sprig of rosemary and hold it to your nose. There's something else. I think there was another player last time. Someone we trusted. A traitor? Maybe, Or someone Rovella blackmailed. Ashenbane's jaw clenches. Then we'll find them before she does. You don't say it aloud, but there's another truth blooming in your mind. Maybe you were never meant to survive this time. Maybe you're just a bookmark for a tragedy still playing out. You return indoors when the rain shifts to sleet. A fire crackles in the drawing room, but the warmth feels performative, like everything else here. That evening, a small dinner party is announced, Lord Ashenbane's official welcome to Eardenmoor. Rovella claims it's tradition, though you suspect it's simply an excuse to parade you like a prize. You'll wear the green gown, she says without looking at you. It flatters you, makes your eyes seem less tired. You glance at her reflection in the mirror. You're very kind. She smirks. Kindness is for children and poets. The dress fits like a glove dipped in emerald fire. When you descend the staircase, guests already gather in the hall. Viscounts, merchants, gossip-thirsty ladies with fans like weapons. You glide through them, all smiles and sugar, until you find him. Ashenbane. He's dressed in formal black again, with a dark jade pin at his throat that mirrors your gown perfectly. Coincidence, you think? Not a chance. You take his arm and let him guide you through the ritual of conversation, the meaningless nibble of words and wine, until someone new arrives. A young man, blonde, with 2 white teeth and eyes that dart too quickly. Lord Cedric Mornvale, Rovella introduces, almost purring. He's recently returned from studying in Florence, a brilliant mind. And just like that, the pieces rearrange. The rival. Cedric bows low over your hand. Lady Elwyn, I've heard so much about you. You smile tightly. Let's hope most of it is true. He laughs, far too loudly. Ashenbane's posture stiffens subtly beside you. During dinner, Cedric talks incessantly. Of Italy, of art, of politics, and of course of his fascination with inheritance law. I find it fascinating, he says brightly, especially when rings and titles go missing. You almost drop your fork. He glances at you. My apologies. I do tend to prattle. Rovella hums from the head of the table. We forgive you, Cedric. Curiosity is a family trait. You trade a glance with Ashenbane. So he's family. A cousin, maybe, or something more twisted. Later, in the candlelit hush of the music room, Cedric corners you by the harpsichord. Do you really believe in love, Lady Elwyn? You ask. Do you? He tilts his head. I believe in strategy, and in knowing where the game pieces are placed. He gestures vaguely towards Ashenbane, who's deep in conversation with a local magistrate. I wonder, he continues, if you remember how things ended last time. Your throat tightens. You're bluffing. Am I? He leans closer. Then explain why you left me standing at the altar in our first life. Your mouth opens and closes. He grins. Oh, darling, you think this is only between you and him? Rovella wasn't the only one who lost something when you died. You back away. See you at the lake tomorrow, he says lightly. The ice will be just thin enough. And then he's gone, leaving you with the chilling sense that the game board has flipped. Again. You seek Ashenbane out, pull him aside into a side corridor, your voice urgent. Cedric remembers everything. He doesn't ask how. He just exhales slowly. Then we're out of time. The ring throbs once on your hand, as if it agrees. The candles flicker. Outside, the sleet turns back to rain. And tomorrow,
someone will drown.
The morning fog clings to the lake like a lover who refuses to let go. You stand at the edge of the water, boots sinking softly into the mud. Somewhere across the ice-glazed surface, a swan glides silently, too silent. Even the birds seem to be holding their breath. The lake is not large, but it is deep, a natural mirror when the sun shines, and a grave when it does not. Ashenbane joins you without speaking, his cloak still wet at the hem from last night's storm. "You're early," he says, voice low. "So are you." He nods toward the far dock. "He'll come." You both know who he is. Cedric, the rival, the one you left once, the one who thinks this story still belongs to him. The lake, as it turns out, is cursed. Not officially, of course, but every child in Ireton Moor grows up hearing the tale, a bride who drowned herself here the night before her wedding. They say she still surfaces when the ice cracks, her veil floating like seaweed, her mouth too wide to scream. You remember hearing the story once, half asleep in a nursery bed, and thinking, she wasn't scared, she was angry. You think of that now, as Cedric approaches. He's all smiles again, cloaked in charcoal and charm, but his eyes are wrong, too bright, too eager, the kind of light that doesn't come from joy, but from the thrill of tipping something over the edge. "Lovely day," he says, stretching his arms wide. "For drowning," Ashenbane murmurs. He grins. "Oh, I'm not here to swim, just to talk." You fold your arms, then talk. He steps closer, the boards of the dock creaking beneath him. "I remember more every night, Elowen. I remember Florence, yes, but I also remember your voice when you chose him over me. I remember the ring, and I remember how easily you died." Ashenbane stiffens beside you. You press a hand to his arm. Cedric notices. "There it is again, that little heroic twitch of yours, always ready to shield her. But the thing is, she doesn't need you." He turns to you. "You don't, do you?" You speak calmly. "I need the truth." "Oh, darling, the truth is simple. I loved you first. You promised me the spring, and you never came. So I helped rewrite the ending." The wind picks up. "You were working with Rovella." Not a question anymore. He bows. "I wouldn't say with. Let's just say I provided opportunities, and she ensured you stayed dead." Ashenbane growls, taking a step forward, but Cedric holds up a hand. "Relax. I didn't kill her. I watched. That's all." He looks at the lake. "I thought maybe this time I'd offer a choice. One of you walks onto the ice. Only one returns. No knives, no poison, just fate." "And if we say no?" you ask. "Then I break the ice myself." He produces a stone from his cloak pocket, tosses it lightly in one hand. Ashenbane lunges, but you're faster. You step forward, placing yourself between them. "Enough," you say. "You want a game? Fine. But it's my move." You turn toward the lake, step onto the first slick board of the dock, then the second. The ice gleams silver and thin. You remember this. You've done this. The weight of wet skirts, the cold that steals your breath. But this time, you are not wearing satin. You are wearing the ring. You kneel slowly and press your palm to the ice. A heartbeat, not yours. A memory trapped in frost. And suddenly, you see it. A flash of a hidden ceremony, you and Ashenbane under an ancient tree, the ring slipped on your finger, Ravella watching from the shadows, Cedric, drunk and bitter, hiding behind a pillar. Then, a scream. A splash. You weren't poisoned that time. You drowned because someone pushed you. And when you open your eyes, you know exactly who it was. Not Cedric. Rovella. Get off the ice! Ashenbane's voice shatters the vision. Cracks crawl outward from where your hand had been. You rise, step back once, twice, just as the surface groans. Cedric laughs. Brave, brave Elowin, always dramatic. Tell me something, you call, turning to face him. Why didn't you wear the ring? He frowns. What? In the vision, you could have claimed it. You didn't. You're not after inheritance. You're after me. He stiffens. Don't be ridiculous. But your words have cracked something else. Him. You see it now. The desperation. Not love, not power. Obsession. You think I'm your fate, but I'm just your failure. You reach into your cloak and remove the ring. For a moment, Cedric stares at it like a man seeing heaven. Then, you toss it, not into the lake, but to Ashenbane. He catches it in one smooth motion, and the moment his fingers close around it, the ice explodes beneath Cedric's feet. He doesn't scream. He simply drops, arms flailing, swallowed in a sudden roar of cold and water and silence. Ashenbane dives before you can even call his name. You race to the edge, kneeling, hands plunged in up to the wrist. 2 heartbeats pass, then 3. Then Ashenbane surfaces, dragging Cedric's limp body behind him. You help pull them both onto the dock, breath coming in jagged gasps. Cedric coughs once, twice, then lies still. Ashenbane presses a palm to his chest. He's alive. Barely. You sit beside him, soaked, shaking. Ashenbane looks at the ring, then at you. You didn't let him die. I'm tired of ghosts, you whisper. He takes your hand. We need to finish this. You nod. The sun breaks through the clouds for the first time in 3 days. A swan lifts off the water in perfect silence. And somewhere far behind you, Ravella is pouring tea for a guest who has yet to arrive, because you have changed the game. The lake, it seems, is not cursed, just waiting.
The fire crackles in the old hearth, but you don't feel warm. You and Ashenbane sit in the solar wrapped in blankets, clothes still damped from the lake. Cedric was taken to the infirmary, his body chilled and unconscious. They say he'll live, though for how long or in what state is uncertain. The room smells of lavender and damp wool. You watch the flames move like dancers who don't know they've lost their audience. Ashenbane speaks first. You didn't let him drown. You nod slowly, because then I'd be her. He looks at you. You remember it now, don't you? Yes. You exhale. It was Ravella. She pushed me. That night by the tree, after the secret wedding, I saw her. She knew the ring would make me heir. She didn't want a Lady Elwyn. Ashenbane's expression hardens. She still doesn't. Outside, the wind slinks through the trees like a spy. You know what must come next. It's time to return to the East Wing, not just for memories, for answers. That wing has been sealed off for years, or so they say, but you saw a light there once, flickering behind broken shutters. A secret never stays buried for long, not in a house built on bones. You wait until nightfall, slipping through the corridor in soft slippers, candle in hand. The silence is thick, the kind that hums in your ears like it's alive. Even the walls breathe differently here, exhaling dust and forgotten vows. You push open the last door. The room is exactly as it was in the dream, and on the far wall, behind a faded tapestry, there it is, a narrow stairwell curling downward. Should we wait? Ashenbane asks from behind you. You glance back. I've waited long enough. Together, you descend. The air grows colder with each step, dry and heavy with the scent of old stone and something metallic beneath it. The staircase leads to a hidden chamber, part cellar, part shrine. Candles burn, too fresh to have been lit long ago. On a stone table in the center, letters. Dozens of them. Your handwriting. Memories you haven't remembered yet. You reach for the nearest one, sealed with a wax crest you don't recognize. Inside, a single sentence. Do not trust the maid who sings. Ashenbane frowns. What does that mean? I don't know, you whisper. But I think I wrote these to myself. He holds up another letter, this one half burned. You read the words aloud, hand trembling. She kept me drugged in the green room. Says it's for nerves. You and Ashenbane exchange a glance. Ravella? No, you murmur. The maid. A memory stirs. Soft hands, sweet tea, a lullaby sung in the wrong language. You remember waking with fog in your veins. The storm wasn't the only cloud clouding your mind. You move to the far end of the chamber, where an old mirror leans against the wall, its frame carved with serpents and vines. Someone has scrawled across the glass in chalk. Time loops until the choice is clean. Ashenbane studies it. What choice? You shake your head. Maybe the one I was too afraid to make. There's a sudden creak above you. You blow out the candle just in time. Footsteps. You and Ashenbane melt into the shadows, barely breathing. The maid appears. Clara. Sweet, humming Clara, with the freckled cheeks and gentle hands. She descends with a fresh candle in one hand and a small wooden box in the other. Her steps are practiced. She knows this place well. She sets the box on the table and opens it. Inside, tiny vials of pale blue liquid. She begins to hum softly, an old lullaby. Ashenbane leans close. She's been drugging you. You nod. Clara pulls a letter from her apron and adds it to the pile. New ink, fresh seal. You wait until she's almost done before stepping into the light. Don't stop on my account, you say, voice icy. She spins, eyes wide, then stills. I thought you were resting. I was. For several lives. Ashenbane steps beside you, silent as a ghost.
Clara's composure breaks. You weren't supposed to find this place. Not yet. Who are you working for? She eyes her between you. Not for, with. She lifts her chin. For Lady Ravella. Your pulse ticks like a drum in your ears. So it was true. She kept me half awake, half mad. She didn't want you dead, just compliant. You approach the table, fingers brushing the edge of the box. And this is what? You ask, holding up a vial. She hesitates. Then, memory dampener. You start remembering too much, you drink, and forget. Ashenbane seethes. You've been dosing her. Only when she asked me to, she snaps. You don't understand. She loved you. You laugh, brittle and hollow. Is that what you call it? She moves toward the stair. You can't stop her. She's planned this for years. Ashenbane blocks her path. We're ending it. She'll never let you live, she hiss. Not both of you. We don't need her permission, you say, stepping closer. Just her mistake. She lunges, but Ashenbane grabs her wrist. No more poison, he growls. No more shadows. You and he drag Clara up the stairs. She spits curses all the way, threats and cryptic warnings. But you don't care. Because you remember now. You weren't the passive victim. You planned an escape. You tried to fight. You just didn't have enough time. Now, you do. You lock Clara in a room upstairs and alert the guards, trusted ones, not Ravella's pets. They nod grimly, accustomed to strange orders in stranger times. Then, you and Ashenbane retreat to the study. You sit across from each other, the ring between you on the table, gleaming like it knows the end is near. There's one more piece we're missing, Ashenbane says. You nod. Why the ring matters. And as the firelight flickers across his face, something clicks. It's not just about title, you whisper. It's a binding charm. That secret wedding under the tree, it wasn't symbolic. It sealed us, by blood, by fate. Ashenbane looks at you. So even if I die, you come back, you finish. He reaches for the ring, slips it gently onto your finger, and suddenly you feel it again. That tether, that pull, no longer a curse, but a promise. Somewhere in the house, Ravella pours herself another glass of wine. She has no idea the end has already begun.
The wind howls outside like a warning. You stand before the mirror in your chamber, dressed in mourning black, not for a funeral, but for clarity. Black, here, is not the color of grief. It's the color worn by truth seekers, by those unafraid to cross thresholds with their eyes open. Ashenbane watches you from the doorway. Are you ready? You glance at him in the mirror. No, but I'm going anyway. He offers a hand. You take it. Tonight, you meet Ravella. The path to the parlor is longer than usual, or maybe the house itself is shifting. Eardenmore Manor has always had a mind of its own. Rooms disappear, portraits age in reverse, doors creak for no reason unless you ask the right one. You arrive at the red door. No guards. No music. Only candlelight and the smell of rosewater, her signature scent. Ashenbane kisses your hand once before stepping aside. Call if you need me. I will, you promise. Then you push open the door. Lady Ravella reclines on a velvet chaise, draped in crimson. Not a wrinkle mars her face. She looks younger than she should. which is, of course, impossible. "Darling," she purrs, "come sit. Let's not pretend this is war." You close the door behind you. "No, let's call it what it is." She smiles. "You look just like your mother when you're angry." You ignore the bait. "I remember everything." She lifts a glass of dark wine. "Do tell." "I remember the secret wedding under the silver tree. I remember you watching. I remember the push." She swirls the wine slowly. "I never touched you." "No, you had Clara do it." A pause. Then she sighs. "Clara was always too sentimental." You don't flinch. "And the potions, the false dreams, the loops?" She shrugs, taking a sip. "I didn't mean for it to last this long. The spell was delicate. You were supposed to forget, start fresh, fall in love with someone more convenient." Cedric was eager. "Because you promised him power. Because I gave him a purpose." Your voice is quiet. "You killed me." Ravella sets down the glass. "No, I rewrote you." She stands, crossing the room like a shadow made flesh. "Do you know what it's like," she says softly, "to raise someone else's child only to be told you'll never be her mother? You cried for a woman who abandoned you. I was the one who stayed. You stayed to take the estate? I stayed to save it," she snaps. "Your father left everything to you, a naive girl in love with a common-born knight. This place would have rotted under your mercy." You lift your chin. "And yet here I am." "Yes," she whispers, "here you are, and the manor is still mine." A slow smile curls her lips. "You want to make a scene, Elowin? Be my guest. Take your memories to the court. But the laws are old. Blood and vow. That rim only binds you to Ashenbane. It doesn't make you Lady of Eardenmoor." You reach into your sleeve and place a folded paper on the table between you. The old marriage certificate. Signed, witnessed, sealed. Her smile falters. "Where did you get this?" You don't answer. She steps back, her hand twitching near the pocket of her gown. "Planning to drug me again?" Her eyes narrow. Poor little Elowin, still trying to win. You meet her gaze. "No, just trying to end it." And then the door creaks open. Ashenbane enters, followed by two figures cloaked in blue. Court scribes. Neutral. Official. They bow. "My lady, we're here to observe the signing of the Eardenmoor Restoration Pact. Shall we proceed?" Ravella stares, speechless. You hold up the document. The ring on your finger glows faintly. "I am Lady Elowin of Eardenmoor, wife of Sir Ciaran Ashenbane. I claim my title by blood and vow before living witnesses." One scribe nods and seals the document with wax and emblem. Ravella's voice is a hiss. "You think this will save you?" "No," you say, calm as moonlight. "I already saved myself." And then she rushes forward, but Ashenbane steps in her path. Ravella freezes, her fury cracking through the varnish of elegance. "You don't understand," she says. "The house, it knows, it chooses." "I know," you say. And then you whisper the words carved in the mirror. Time loops until the choice is clean. She blinks. "No!" But it's too late. The candles flicker violently. The glass goblet explodes. The manor groans, a low, old sound.
like wood remembering something it would rather forget. You and Ashenbane step back. The shadows behind Ravella deepen, stretching toward her like fingers. The scribes scatter, and Ravella screams, not in fear, but in rage. "You little fool! You've trapped us all!" She lunges for the ring, but her hand passes through you. For a moment, her eyes go wide. Then her body collapses. Only her soul, whatever remained, has been claimed by the manor. Ashenbane kneels to check for a pulse. "She's gone," he says quietly. You press a hand to your chest, where your heart beats steady and strong. "I didn't choose vengeance. I chose ending." And the manor approves. The storm breaks. Beyond the window, dawn blooms golden over the moor. You walk into the light together. One last secret chamber left unopened, and one letter still unread, sealed in your own handwriting, tucked into your sleeve before you ever came down those hidden stairs. You open it now. Inside, "If you are reading this, then I finally made it." Ashenbane reads over your shoulder, smiling. "Welcome back, my lady." And this time, you believe him.
Later that morning, you find yourself in the conservatory, barefoot on the cool mosaic floor, watching sunbeams spill across the marble tiles like spilled honey. The glass panes hum gently with the breeze. For the first time, Eardenmoor breathes like a home again, not a tomb. Ashenbane sits at the far bench, half reading an old volume on herbal lore, half watching you. He's trying not to smirk, but you've caught him at it twice already. "You're staring," you tease. "I'm verifying," he replies, deadpan, "that you're still here, that the manor didn't blink you out of existence at dawn." You walk toward him and take the book from his lap. "I'm very solid today," you say, guiding his hand to your waist. "See?" He does, rather thoroughly. But you both know this isn't the end. It's the beginning of something delicate. There's still Cedric, recovering but silent, and Clara, imprisoned yet unrepentant, and the people of Eardenmoor who will want answers, preferably ones without ghosts or rings that control fate. So, you do what any new lady of the manor would do. You host a gathering. An informal one. Tea in the West Gardens, or guests can gossip in peace, and you can study them closely. The invitations go out. You insist on handwriting each one. Ashenbane raises an eyebrow when you write to Cedric. "He tried to kill me," you admit, "but he also saved me once. I need to know which part of him survived." The guests arrive 2 days later in a flurry of carriages, velvet, and veiled curiosity. Lady Farah brings her lapdog and 4 husbands, in that order. Sir Brennet, who once accused you of being too pale for politics, now bows so low he nearly swallows his cravat. You offer tea and measured smiles. Ashenbane lurks at your side like an affectionate shadow. Cedric arrives late. He walks with a cane, his once proud frame diminished by the lake's icy embrace, but his eyes, those are the same. Intelligent, calculating, guarded. You greet him without fanfare. "Lord Cedric," you motion to a seat, "welcome home." "I wasn't sure I'd be invited," he says, his voice brittle. "I wasn't sure you'd survive.
a quiet beat. Then he chuckles. Neither was I. He sits. You pour tea. No poison, no theatrics, just silence and steam. What do you remember? You ask. Enough. Too much. Ashenbane watches him closely. I remember her voice in my ear, Ravella, promising me the moon. Telling me if I helped her bind you to me, I'd have more than a title. I'd have legacy. You sip your tea. Did you believe her? At first. Then I saw the way you looked at him, and I knew I'd never have that. You say nothing, because that truth, at least, doesn't require correction. Cedric leans forward, wincing. I don't ask forgiveness, he says, but I never wanted you to drown. I just wanted you to choose me. A bitter, broken smile. Turns out, you already had. You nod slowly. Thank you for the honesty. And Cain, Ashenbane adds helpfully, it suits you. Cedric snorts. Remind me to have you hanged after dessert. Laughter. Real laughter. Strange how grief and healing share the same breath sometimes. By the end of the gathering, you've earned reluctant allies and wide-eyed respect. You told them only what they needed to hear. That Lady Ravella passed suddenly in the night. That you've assumed your rightful place. That the manor is no longer a place of shadows. You do not mention time loops or poisoned dreams, or the fact that the West Fountain now runs clear, though it's been dry for over a decade, or the portrait of your mother in the hall no longer turns to face the wall. These are manor things. They do not explain themselves. That evening, as twilight settles, you and Ashenbane retreat to the roof, your favorite spot, forgotten by most. He brings wine, you bring the old letters you found in the hidden chamber. One by one, you burn them in a small iron brazier. Not out of fear, but because you don't need them anymore. Your memory is your own now. You've changed, he murmurs. You lean into his shoulder. So have you. He hesitates. I keep expecting this to vanish. You. This moment. You smile. Maybe it will. But maybe that's the point. You tell him a custom you half remember from childhood. If two people share a kiss beneath the first full moon of their restored fate, their hearts beat in rhythm forever. Maybe it's real. Maybe it's a dream. You kiss him anyway. The moon approves. You both feel it. Later, you find a scrap of parchment tucked under your pillow, unsigned, but clearly yours. It reads, "If you wake up tomorrow, try dancing." You laugh aloud and set it beside your hairbrush. In the hallway, the candles extinguish one by one, without wind, without touch. The manor is watching, but not unkindly. Down in the cellars, Clara still sings her lullaby. But it's out of tune now, and growing softer. Tomorrow, you will begin the work of rebuilding, rewriting, remembering. But tonight, you let the stars rest on your skin like sequins. You dance alone for a while, then not alone. You whisper a custom you half remember from childhood into Ashenbane's ear. That's such a subtle observation. I admire the way your mind works. You don't know if it's true, but you sleep deeper than ever before. And the manor dreams with you. You wake to a silence that is not empty, but full. Not eerie, but sacred. The kind of hush that follows the end of a storm, when the leaves are still dripping and the birds haven't yet dared to sing. The manor is quiet, not because it's hiding something, but because it's listening. You sit up in bed, the sheets tangled at your feet, your hair still perfumed faintly by last night's moonlight. There's something folded at the end of the mattress, a soft blue gown you don't remember owning, embroidered with white thistle and tiny silver threads. A gift, perhaps, or a memory returning in physical form. You wear it anyway. Downstairs, Ashenbane is already at the long table, reading a dispatch from the capital. His hair still damp from the courtyard well. He looks up as you enter and says, without irony, "You've never looked more dangerous." You curtsy with mock grace. It's the embroidery. It whispers rebellion. He pulls out a chair for you. Or seduction. You sit. We can multitask. Your morning begins with toast, honey, and a plan. Ashenbane says, Ravella's gone, but her allies aren't. She played too wide a game for all her pawns to fall with her. You nod. Let's make them uneasy. So you send word to the village, open the estate's doors for the first time in years. A tradition is revived, the Ladies' Open Day. People arrive cautiously, expecting walls and locked gates, not warm cider and chess on the lawn. You greet them personally, wearing the blue gown with Ashenbane and dark green beside you like some forest prince, equal parts comfort and steel. Children hide behind their mothers. Men bow awkwardly. The blacksmith's daughter, 10 years old and already suspicious of silk, eyes your ring. "Are you a ghost?" she asks plainly. You crouch beside her. "No, just a story that got lost for a while." She nods, as if that makes perfect sense. You learn more from a day of tea and questions than a month of court reports. It turns out the manor has been speaking to the villagers in its own way for years. Shutters that slam without wind, the sound of weeping in dry wells, the occasional basket of warm bread left at a doorstep in the dead of winter. You were protecting them even when you couldn't remember doing it. And now, they begin to believe in you again. In the evening, you find yourself in the old music room. The piano has dust in its teeth. The harp is out of tune. You lift the lid of the clavichord and try a key. A single note lingers in the air, soft and cracked. Ashenbane leans in the doorway and says, "Do you play?"
I did, once. You play another note, then another. A lullaby forms, something haunting and strangely familiar. He crosses the room and sits beside you. That was the first song I heard in the dream loops, over and over. Someone sang it from the next room. I thought it was Ravella. But it wasn't. No. It was me. The melody stumbles. You stop. Ashenbane's voice is gentle. There's something still missing, isn't it? You nod. Something in the chapel. He stiffens slightly. No one goes to the chapel. You meet his eyes. Exactly. So that night, by lantern light and with a pocket full of old keys, you return to the western wing. The corridor is colder than the rest of the house. Dust clings like secrets. You unlock the chapel doors. They creak, but do not resist. Inside, ruins. Ivy eats the walls. The altar is cracked down the middle. The stained glass windows are broken, their colored light scattered in shards across the pews. And yet, something glows faintly behind the altar. You approach. It's a mirror. Not a large one, just enough to frame a face. Yours. Except it isn't your current reflection. It's her. The version of you before the fall, before the loops. Young, trembling, defiant. A girl in white, barefoot and furious. She stares back at you. And then she moves, not mimicking, not reflecting. She speaks. "You're late," she says. You say nothing. I waited. I held the memory. I screamed into dreams, and you buried me. You step closer. "I'm sorry." The girl tilts her head. "Are you ready now?" "For what?" "To choose." The mirror fogs. A line appears across the glass, a seam. Ashenbane steps beside you. "Don't," he says softly. But you already know. You touch the seam. The mirror splits. Behind it, nestled like a secret spine, lies a second ring. Not gold, not silver, but stone, smooth, carved with ancient markings. You pick it up. It's warm. Ashenbane watches, tense. That's not just a ring. No, it's a key. He swallows. To what? You turn the stone over in your palm. Whatever comes next. A breeze stirs through the chapel. The candles light themselves, and the old bell tolls. Once. Just once. Then silence. You look at Ashenbane. "I think we just woke the manor." His expression is unreadable. "Then I hope it likes you better this time." You smile faintly. "It already does."
The next morning, the manor breathes deeper. The air smells of wood smoke and roses. The east-facing shutters, long warped and stubborn,
open by themselves as the sun rises, a gesture of welcome or warning. You're no longer sure which. You wear the stone ring on a ribbon around your neck, not out of fear, but to remind yourself that some choices must be carried close, not worn for show. Ashenbane joins you on the southern terrace with 2 cups of something bitter and black. "It's stronger than coffee," he says, handing you a cup. "The villagers call it gravewake. They say it keeps spirits out of your teeth." You sip and cough. "Tastes like burnt boot leather." He grins. "So you'll take 2? The laughter is real, but brief, because you both know the rhythm is shifting again. That afternoon, you receive a letter without seal or sender. Just 5 words. You were not the first. There's no signature. Ashenbane reads it and frowns. "Not Ravella's hand." "No," you murmur, rereading it. "Someone who knows." You return to the manor's hidden library, the one you once found by accident, now always waiting, now lit even when no candle is near. You comb the records, skimming pages written in half-faded ink, reading names that stir like old dust in your memory. And you find it. A list, a ledger of previous ladies of Iardenmoor, handwritten, dated, some scratched out, others circled with symbols. You count 24. You are the 25th. Some names bear annotations: vanished, wed and fled, madness claimed, refused the mirror. You pause at 1, lettuce of Grimwald, twice chosen. Ashenbane appears beside you. "That's an old name," you whisper. "Older than the manor, older than the town." You find her portrait in the attic 3 hours later, beneath moth-bitten tapestries and a broken clock. She looks like you, enough to unsettle. Her eyes are painted with defiance, her mouth with mischief. A woman who knew too much and left too little behind. You touch the frame and the wood creaks open. Hidden compartment. Another letter, this one sealed with wax stamped in the shape of a bird with its wings folded downward. You break it. Inside, a warning. If you survive, leave. If you stay, remember, the manor remembers too. Ashenbane reads over your shoulder. Not exactly a housewarming note. You nod. She was one of us. Or one of them, he says, frowning. But deep down, you know she was you, or a version of you from a time forgotten, folded into the manor like a page tucked into a dream. The next morning, you walk the perimeter of the estate. Something in you insists on mapping it with your feet, like a dog returning to familiar paths after an absence. You pause by the oldest part of the hedge maze, where ivy coils like snakes and the air feels wrong. There's a gate, small, iron, etched with that same downward bird. Locked, of course, but your new ring hums as you approach, and the gate opens. Beyond it lies a garden untouched by sunlight, gray roses, thorned vines, statues of figures mid-scream, a place forgotten by design. You do not enter, not yet, because behind you, someone calls your name. It's the child from the village, the blacksmith's daughter. She shouldn't be here, but here she is, barefoot and wide-eyed. I had a dream. You burned. You kneel beside her. Did I scream? No, she whispers. You sang. Ashenbane arrives moments later, breathless and pale. I couldn't find you. I thought... You look at the girl. Did anyone see you leave?
She shakes her head. He kneels, heart pounding. She shouldn't have been able to pass the manor wards. The garden gate creaks behind you, still open, still humming. She was summoned, you say softly, like I was, like lettuce. The manor chose. But she's a child. You stand, which means she has time. You take the girl's hand and guide her away. The gate closes as you pass, almost reluctantly. You whisper to the thorns, "Not yet." You send the girl home with a ribbon from your hair and a warning never to return unless she's called. She nods solemnly. Ashenbane watches you from the balcony that night, your silhouette golden in the candlelight. "She's you," he says quietly, "or will be." You don't deny it. You remember another superstition, that souls travel in circles, not lines, that every girl who stands at the edge of the garden will one day wear the ring, unless someone breaks the circle. Unless you do. You and Ashenbane sit together as the moon rises, reading Lettuce's letter again. "She fled," he says, "but she left the garden open. Why?" You turn to him. "Because she hoped someone braver would come next." He reaches out, touches the ribbon around your neck. "So now what?" You say it before you realize it. We finish the story. The wind sighs through the chimneys. The manor approves. But in the cellar, Clara stirs again. And not alone.
The dream comes with heat this time. It begins in fire, familiar and endless. You're running through halls that shouldn't burn, chased by laughter that has no mouth, only teeth. The mirrors scream, the piano bleeds wax, and from the highest window a girl watches you. Not the blacksmith's daughter, not Lettuce, but you, another echo. She wears your face the way a mask wears bone. She opens her mouth and says your true name. You wake with ash in your mouth. Ashenbane is already up. He's standing at the window in nothing but trousers, back tense, hair disheveled from sleep. He doesn't turn. You cried out. I was burning again. He glances over his shoulder. But not alone this time. You nod. There were 3 of us. 3 versions of you? Or one too many? You rise slowly, muscles aching with dream residue. Your nightgown smells like smoke, though the room holds no trace of it. As you dress, Ashenbane speaks again. Something's different in the manor this morning. You feel it too. The air is thicker, the walls murmur. Paintings seem to shift when not watched directly. The clock ticks backward, and somewhere under your skin, the ring hums with the rhythm you don't recognize. At breakfast, a servant you don't remember hiring spills tea and vanishes before you can blink. Ashenbane touches the cup. Still warm. Or never poured. You both look toward the cellar door. It's cracked open. Not wide, not inviting, just enough. By midday, 3 more letters arrive, all unsigned, all written in different hands. One says, "Bring the girl back." One says, "Your story ends at dusk." One simply reads, "She waits below." You and Ashenbane read them in silence, the last word echoing louder than ink should allow. "She," you say? He nods once. "Clara."
The name hangs like frost in the room. You haven't spoken it aloud since the garden opened. You stare at the cellar door. She's stronger now. He leans in. We don't have to go today. But we do. You pick up the stone ring and fasten it on your finger before she comes up. You descend the cellar steps at dusk, each creak a drum beat. Ashenbane follows, a lantern in one hand, his other resting on the hilt of an old ceremonial sword. You've never seen him wear a blade before. I thought you didn't believe in weapons, you murmur. I still don't, but Clara does. The cellar has changed. It no longer smells of earth and wine. It smells of lavender and candle wax and the sharp sting of memory. The walls have turned slightly, subtly. You're not sure you're still under your own manor. She's folding the space, Ashenbane whispers, like you did in the dream loops. You reach the final door. It has no handle, only a symbol etched into the wood, a circle with 3 faces, yours, Lettuce's, and Clara's. You press your palm to the door. It opens, and inside, time unravels. The room beyond is part nursery, part cathedral, part tomb. Dolls and cribs made of glass, bells that ring without motion, 100 mirrors all reflecting different ages of your face. Some smile, some weep. One is missing its mouth. In the center stands Clara. She is younger than you remember, but sharper. Her hair is too pale, her eyes too wide. She wears a white shift and nothing else. The ring, the first ring, is on her thumb. So, she says, you came back. You take a step forward. You never left. She smiles slowly. They never let me. Behind you, Ashenbane breathes your name, low and tense. Clara lifts a hand. The cellar quivers. She says, I warned you. They always bring one back. The garden isn't exile, it's storage. You move closer. You were a lady once, before me. I was the first, before lettuce, before the stories, before the manor had a name. The world seems to tilt. She steps toward you. They built this house on top of me, buried me in bricks and rules and curses, and every time one of us tries to escape, they pull another in. You look down at your ring. So you want out. Clara smiles, wide and terrible. No, I want in. With a cry, she slams her palm to the floor. The cellar shakes. Ashenbane rushes forward, but too late. The mirrors explode outward, shards spinning like stars. Clara rises, her body lifting from the floor, her hair unfurling like shadow. She screams, but it isn't pain. It's release. You grab Ashenbane's hand, and together you leap into the light. But not before Clara's voice follows you. Maybe you were never meant to survive this time.
You fall upward, which is strange, yes, but you've fallen this way before, through dream loops, through memories not yours, through a manor that folds and unfolds itself like a paper swan dipped in oil. This time, though, Ashenbane falls with you. His grip tightens as the world tilts again, then drops,
spitting you out into moonlight and wind and something almost like silence. You're in the garden, but not the one you remember. The thorns are taller here. The roses glow silver. The air hums with voices, overlapping whispers and forgotten tongues. The statues are gone. In their place, figures made of mist and memory, drifting like smoke caught in glass. "She brought us here," Ashenbane says, catching his breath. "No," you murmur. "The manor did." It knows this is the final act, and you feel it, down to the marrow, that every step from now on will carve into something deeper than fate. Ashenbane looks around. This place wasn't here before. Not for us. Then for who? For her. A path opens ahead of you, hedged in ivy blacker than pitch. You follow it, your feet unerringly guided by rhythm, not reason. The ring pulses with warmth against your hand. And ahead, through an arch of twisted branches, stands a girl on a pedestal. Not Clara, Lettuce, but younger than her portrait, frozen in time, eyes closed, hands folded over her chest like a sleeping saint. The inscription beneath her feet is simple: "The one who tried to forget." Ashenbane kneels beside the base, brushing away moss. "She's in stasis," you nod. "Clara locked her here." He looks up at you. "So why show us now?" "Because Clara wants me to choose." And you understand now the shape of it. Clara never wanted release. She wanted replacement. She didn't just want to escape the manor. She wanted someone else to take her place in its roots. She wanted the cycle to continue, only with her watching from above. And she's offering you the same. A trade. Lettuce's freedom for your permanence. You stare at the statue, and the longer you look, the more you remember. A moment under moonlight, a locked door, a knife you didn't use. Lettuce was never just a lady before you. She was your sister. Not by blood, not even by name, but by suffering. And Clara tried to erase that, cut out the connection so you'd walk into her trap blind. Ashenbane watches you wrestle with this. "I can't let you choose alone," he says. You turn, then don't. He nods once, rises, and together you move through the garden to the gate of mirrors. It wasn't there before. Now it gleams like frost and fire. Each mirror in the gate reflects not your face, but a version of you. Queen, thief, mother, witch, monster, lover, shadow. Ashenbane stops before her. Love. "She's beautiful," he says. "She's not me." "No, but she could be." He turns to you. So could all of them. A voice ripples from the air behind you, silk-wrapped and cold. "Choose one," Clara says, "and I'll let the others go." You don't turn. You locked her away. She wanted to be forgotten. She wanted peace. And I offered her eternity. Now you face her. She's changed. Less ghost, more girl. Her feet touch the ground. Her eyes glow, not with madness, but purpose. "I survived," Clara says. "I endured. I gave the manor shape. And you made it a cage." She nods. "It had to be." "For whom?" "For you," she says softly. "You were supposed to be the last." Your voice trembles. "Then why am I still here?" Clara's smile falters. "Because she doesn't know. Because she never knew. Because the manor chose differently. And you remember the superstition that the final lady doesn't stay,
She undoes. You walk toward the mirror at the center of the gate. It shows nothing, no version of you, just absence. Ashenbane says, "Is it broken?" No. You raise your hand to the glass, and the mirror breathes. The gate swings open, and the garden begins to burn. Not with fire, but with forgetting. The mist figures collapse. The ivy wilts. The silver roses crumble into ash. Clara screams. You broke the ring. You glance at your hand. The stone has cracked. Not broken. Open. Inside it, a second ring. Thinner. Made of bone. Ashenbane gasps. That's not... You slide it on your finger and remember everything. Lettuce's voice on the wind, the pain of your first death, the cold touch of the choosing mirror, the way Clara cried when she first realized she'd never leave. You see her now, not as a monster, but as a girl who loved the wrong way, loved the house too much, and made it love her back. You speak softly. I forgive you. Clara's face shatters, not literally, but emotionally, like she's hearing a language long extinct. You shouldn't, but I do. You step through the mirror. She doesn't follow. Behind you, the world unthreads. Ashenbane rushes to your side just as the gate closes, and you both fall again. Not upward, not downward, but outward. And the garden is gone.
You wake in a field. Not a cursed manor, not a dream loop. Just wild grasses brushing your skin, the wind gentle with no hidden meanings, and a soft gray sky stretching wide overhead like a lullaby. Ashenbane lies beside you, still breathing, still real. You sit up slowly, every muscle stiff but present. There's dirt under your nails, a smear of something red on your sleeve. Berry juice, not blood. The ring of bone is still on your finger. It hums, but not with danger, with finality. Ashenbane groans as he rises. Well, that's a new kind of fall. You glance around. Where are we? He turns in a slow circle. Not the manor, that's a start. The field rolls into distant hills. Sheep bleat from somewhere nearby. A line of trees marks the edge of what might be a village. Smoke from chimneys, voices calling. You breathe deep. The air is clean. Nothing bends behind your back. No illusions creep at the edges of vision. But something's missing. You frown. Where's the ring, the first one? Ashenbane checks his pockets. Gone, like the mirror gate. You nod. Then the house accepted it. You don't say what it is. The ending. Your escape. Its surrender. He dusts himself off, walking a few steps ahead. So, what do we do now? The question feels both too simple and too large, because you remember everything now. Clara's madness, Lettuce's kindness, your own longing, stitched into every corner of the manor like forgotten embroidery. And you remember the superstition from before. If a lady breaks the cycle with bone, not blood, the manor forgets her name. Maybe that's why the air feels so light now. You've been released, but the world has changed. Ashenbane points. Someone's coming. Down the hill, a wagon rolls into view, drawn by a sleepy horse and guided by a woman in a wide straw hat. She waves when she sees you. No surprise, no fear, as if she expects you. Lovely day, she calls.
You two from the convent? You glance at Ashenbane. He raises an eyebrow. You smile. Something like that. She pulls the cart to a stop beside you. There are flowers in the back, tools for gardening, and a lumpy bag of apples. Town's not far. Need a lift? You hesitate only a moment before nodding. Yes, please. Ashenbane helps you climb aboard, then settles beside you, close enough that your shoulders touch. The woman clucks to the horse, and the cart creaks forward. You'll like Greywick. Quiet folk. But we have dancing in the square come full moon. Bit old-fashioned, but the bread's good, and no one stabs you over land disputes anymore. Not often, anyway. You laugh, and the sound surprises you. You hadn't realized how long it had been since your laughter felt yours. Ashenbane rests his arm behind you on the bench. Not a claim, just warmth. He says, voice light, dancing, I've never danced. Not even in dreams? Especially not there. He leans in. Then we'll fix that. You reach the village by midday. The houses are timber and stone, roofed with red tile and ivy. Children run through alleys. A boy sells honeyed pears from a crate. Somewhere, a blacksmith hammers out a rhythm not meant for war. It's ordinary, blissfully, achingly ordinary. And the people greet you like neighbors they've always known, as if the world simply edited itself around your re-entry. The woman leaves you at a quiet inn, slipping you both an apple on the house and waving cheerfully as she continues down the road. You stand in the street for a long moment. Ashenbane speaks softly. It's real, isn't it? You nod. Feels that way. But you lift your hand. The ring of bone catches the sun. It's still here. He takes your hand, holding it carefully. Maybe it's not a curse anymore. You stare up at him. Then what is it? A key, he says. If you ever want to return. You shiver. Not to the manor. He smiles. To the parts of you it hid. The innkeeper offers you a room for two, no questions asked. There's a clawfoot tub, windows that creak, and quilts that smell like lavender. You wash the dream ashes off your skin, and afterward you and Ashenbane sit on the edge of the bed, legs touching, silence comfortable. Outside, the village windmill turns lazily. He turns to you. Do you think she's still there, Clara? No, you say. She stayed behind. Then who's the lady now? You meet his eyes. No one. And that's the beauty of it. The manor was a cycle of grief, each lady a new branch in a gnarled tree. But when no one wears the title, the roots loosen. The house forgets its hunger. Maybe the ghosts turn to dust. Maybe the mirrors turn to glass. Maybe Clara finally sleeps. You kiss him, soft and steady, no illusions between you, no masks, no curses, just breath and closeness and something that might become love given time. And when the sun sets, you sit by the window and watch the stars. For the first time, they don't whisper warnings. They shine.
The days unfold like petals. You stay in Greywick. There's no decree from the stars, no phantom hand pressing you onward. Just a quiet certainty that, for now, this is enough. You rent a small cottage at the edge of the village, near a grove where the crows seem unusually polite and the wind always smells like thyme. The roof leaks when it rains, but
Ashenbane fixes it with the help of a neighbor named Jory, who swears by honey as a sealant. You're skeptical, but the roof hasn't dripped since. Ashenbane, he insists you call him Reese now, learns to bake. Poorly, at first. A near tragedy involving yeast and a fire poker nearly sets the curtains alight. But his third attempt produces a walnut rye so delicious the baker across the square gives him a respectful nod. That's practically a knighthood in Greywick. You, meanwhile, tend a garden. It's small, a rough L shape of soil that was more stone than earth when you found it, but you coaxed it into life, just as you coaxed yourself out of the shadows. Radishes, wild mink, something that might be lavender or possibly stinging nettle. You haven't checked. It's peaceful, ordinary, which means you begin dreaming again. Not the manor, not entirely, but echoes. A hallway glimpsed through frost, the ghost of a melody, the feel of Lettuce's hand in yours, brief, forgiving. One morning, you wake to find the bone ring humming. Not fiercely, not with warning, just a quiet, persistent pulse, like a heartbeat you almost forgot was yours. You don't tell Reese immediately. You're afraid. Not of the ring, but of what it might ask. But it doesn't speak. It doesn't drag you back. It simply reminds. There's more. One afternoon, a peddler arrives in town. He wears rings on every finger and speaks in rhymes whether you want him to or not. Spirits whisper where roses died. Secrets bloom where truths once lied. Reese buys a puzzle box from him. You buy nothing. But the peddler watches you long as he leaves. And later that night, in the mirror above your basin, you see your own reflection blink a beat too late. You whisper, "Clara?" No reply. Just your face, tired, stronger, human. You press your palm to the glass, expecting cold. Instead, warmth. The ring glows once, then dims. It's not the manor, it's you. You're becoming something new. You tell Reese the next morning. You don't want to, but you do. He listens quietly, buttering a heel of bread, his eyes intent. I think I was meant to undo it all, to end it. He nods. I think you did. But it's not over. Something's still stirring? You glance at him. Is that your romantic term for haunted? He grins. It's my term for you. You throw a grape at him. He catches it in his mouth, smug. Later, while digging near the grove, you uncover a small wooden box buried beneath a stone shaped like a woman's foot. Inside, there's a folded scrap of vellum. It reads, "If you forget your name, she wakes again." There's no signature, no curse sigil, just that line. Reese finds you staring at it. She? He asks. You answer without thinking. The manor. He sits beside you in the dirt. So don't forget, he says simply, who you are, who you were, who you loved. That's the lock. That's the key. You blink hard. You always this poetic? Only for women who outwit haunted houses. The vellum bursts into harmless ash in your hand, and in the days that follow, the dreams stop coming. But the feeling doesn't. The pull. Not back, but onward. You begin writing again. Nothing fancy, just memories at first. Then stories, the women before you.
lettuces, lullabies, the smell of soap in Clara's room before she changed, a line of poetry that came to you the night you left the mirror garden. Reese reads every word, even the pages you try to hide, especially those. He tells the village you're a chronicler of dreams. They believe him, or they don't ask. Either way, no one treats you like a ghost. And one evening, just as the first frost arrives, a girl named Mabel brings you a letter. No sender, but the seal is waxed with a raven. Inside, there are other houses. Not all of them sleep. You read it twice, then burn it. Reese watches the flames curl. Another manner? You nod. He doesn't flinch. Instead, he says, "Then, when you're ready, take me with you." You touch the ring of bone. It hums once, softly. And you smile. Because yes, one day you'll go. But not today. Today, you dance. Reese pulls you into the square, where fiddles sing and boots scuff stone, and the moon glows silver above a village too small to be cursed. You stumble twice, laugh 5 times. He kisses your knuckles when the music slows, and your heart, for once, stays quiet. Because maybe rebirth doesn't mean beginning again. Maybe it means finally living.
The castle wakes slowly on the morning of the spring equinox. Birdsong drifts in through the mullioned windows, soft and tentative, like even the sparrows are unsure this peace will hold. The scent of dew and chimney smoke curls through the corridors, mingling with the faint perfume of blooming lilac that someone, probably Bee, has placed on your windowsill. You rise without a summons, no bells, no duties, no rush, just the quiet pull of something new. Your feet carry you, almost without thought, to the western garden, the one forgotten for years after Lysandra drained its soil with cursed roots and bramble. But now, a path is clear, and at its center, something stirs. You kneel beside the bed of fresh-turned earth where you buried the winter mint. It's grown. Not just sprouted, grown. Tall, thick-stemmed, crowned in silvery leaves that shimmer faintly even without sunlight. But that's not what stops your breath. Next to it, nestled in the loam, a flower blooms. White petals shaped like a crescent moon, veins of starlight blue, the sleeping crown. You reach out, fingertips barely brushing the edge, warm, alive, real. You sit there for a long time, knees cold against the flagstone, hands in your lap. The wind picks up, tugging strands of your hair loose, carrying whispers through the ivy. And then Thorn finds you. He doesn't speak. He just kneels beside you like he's done a dozen times before and looks at the flower. "So," he says quietly, "you did it." You glance at him. "No, we did." He looks at you then, really looks. Not like a commander, not like a soldier, like someone who remembers you even when you forget yourself. Later, in the throne room, a decision must be made. The council has waited long enough. They speak of titles, of succession, of coronation. You rise to your feet, cloak trailing behind you like a quiet shadow, and walk to the dais. But you do not sit. Instead, you speak. "I will not be queen." A breath catches in the room. "But I will lead." They stare. "I will not rule above, but with,
and not as a ghost of Evelyn nor the echo of a tyrant. You raise your eyes. I will lead as myself. The silence that follows is not dissent, it is reverence. Even the old steward bows, even Alric, ever grumbling, dips his chin. They do not cheer, they simply accept, which is louder than any applause. That evening, in the lantern-lit hall, Bia joins you on the balcony. She hands you a single ribbon, sky blue. She says, "For your hair. It's tradition now." You laugh. "I've only worn a ribbon once." Bia grins. "Exactly." You let her tie it in place. "You were always more dangerous when you were kind," she whispers, and you smile at the truth in it. In the courtyard below, the people gather. They wear flowers, they bring honey cakes and cider. Someone plays an old tune on a flute, and children dance in rings, their voices rising in new, made-up verses. Around the sun, the shadows sleep. Where she still stands, the vows we keep. Thorn joins you at your side, gaze distant. He says, "You look like a storm that finally learned to rest." You glance at him, a soft huff of laughter escaping, and you look like a man who still doesn't know what to do with peace. He smiles. "Then teach me." You step back from the railing, extend your hand. "I will." And this time, you both walk down the stairs together, not toward battle, but toward spring. The moon rises, a silver eye watching over the new season, and in the hidden garden, beneath the statue of the girl who once wept for her people, the sleeping crown continues to bloom. No one touches it, no one dares, but every evening, someone leaves a stone beside it. A wish, perhaps, or a promise, or a memory. And when you close your eyes that night, wrapped in linen and silence and the steady warmth of another heartbeat beside you, you do not dream of falling. You dream of growing, of roots that cling, of light that lingers, of love that lives, not in prophecy or duty, but in laughter across a long table, in footsteps down a shared corridor, in the way someone says your name when no one else is listening. You breathe out slowly, you let go of the other world, the fire, the fear, the girl you were. Because here, in this place of ruin and regrowth, you are no longer a ghost wearing someone else's skin. You are you, and you are home. The night deepens. The stars hang heavy above the castle, no longer cold or watching, just present. The kind of sky you could fall into. You lie still beneath the covers, the last of the candlelight flickering against the stone. Outside, a gentle wind moves through the ivy. The old weather vane creaks once, like an old friend shifting in their sleep. Your hands rest easy now. Your name is yours again, and whatever comes next, whether it's love or loss, or just another morning with tea and tangled sheets, it will be yours too. Because you did not come to this world to wear a crown or wield a sword. You came to remember how to live, to laugh in a garden where things once withered, to walk hand in hand without looking over your shoulder, to build something soft where there was only silence. You've done it. You're here, and though the story ends, for now, the breath of it lingers in the walls, the soil, the lips of someone who dares to hope again. So close your eyes, let the weight slip from your bones, let the world dim until all that's left is the hum of the earth and the echo of a name spoken in love. Sleep well, wild heart. The stars are still keeping watch. and tomorrow the garden will bloom again.